We want to create something new. We want a blue ocean. Well, if nobody else is selling it, did you ever wonder why not?
Welcome to Coach's Corner with Xander Fryer and Jay Williams, where we dive into what it really takes to launch, build, and scale a successful coaching business. One that brings you more income, more impact, and more freedom than you ever thought possible. After more than a decade in the coaching space, each of us building seven-figure businesses and helping thousands of coaches grow to 6 and 7 figures, we realized we have learned way too much not to share it with the industry. So welcome to Coach's Corner. Today, we are going to dig into our lead sales and delivery model. So Xander, when you start working with clients, you teach something called the LSD model, right?
Yeah, it's a little misleading. We're not taking a bunch of drugs and going on a trip in the middle of the jungle or something, but the lead sales delivery, LSD, yes.
How many people have you taken through it?
I think right now we've probably done over 1,300 that we have worked with directly, but we have taught this in, big workshops and conventions and things like that. We've probably shared it with, near 10,000 people.
I'd love to break it down today and ask you a few questions, maybe for people that haven't heard it so they can use it in their business or they can start to think about things differently. Now, I know this is a pretty big topic, so we're going to break this up into 3 episodes. So we'll do leads, sales, and delivery. And today we'll focus on getting leads. But can you start by giving me just kind of high-level overview of the model, and then we can dig into leads?
The LSD model is basically designed after having about 1,000 clients. We had seen a lot of commonalities around what it took to actually build a coaching business. Basically, we saw if you can follow the basic systems of how to generate leads, how to enroll clients, and how to deliver in a consistent way, you can build a 20 to 30K per month coaching business. And really, this was kind of the first step for most coaches, right? Being able to build a full-time, consistent, multi-6-figure business that they could get out of a 9 to 5. And if they had bigger dreams or aspirations of getting to the $500,000 or $1 million mark, this was the first step anyways, right? And so really what it breaks down to, when you think about it, it's like if you want a multiple 6-figure coaching business, 20, 30K per month, number one, you need to be able to deliver an amazing experience that gets great results, getting consistent and great results. Number two is, well, if you've got a great delivery mechanism, you have to be able to enroll people into that delivery, right? Because
you got to be able to sign people
100%.
up.
100%. You can't change any lives. We go like, oh, I've got this amazing program. Well, that program doesn't change any lives if you can't actually enroll anybody into it. So learning actually how to sell people into your coaching. And then obviously you can't sell anybody into your coaching if you don't have consistent leads, right? I had a mentor once tell me, if you don't have consistent leads, you will never have a business. You might have a hobby that occasionally pays you, but you will never actually have a business. So really it's kind of the 3-legged chair. We like to look at it. It's like, some people have leads and delivery, but they can't sell. And, that's a 2-legged chair. You're going to fall over, right? You end up having a lot of leads, but you end up overworked and not making the money that you need to. Some people have leads and sales, but they can't deliver. So they end up with a ton of clients and they get terrible results. And then they kill the brand and kill the business pretty quickly. Some people can sell and deliver, but they don't have consistent leads. So again, it's inconsistent ups and downs. Really, you need all 3 to have a true business that consistently grow and scale with you.
When I first started working with you and investigating all of this stuff, one of the things coming from the sort of fitness industry, there's definitely this mentality of like, if you're a good enough coach, then people will find you.
Didn't mean to laugh so loud, but yeah.
When I first started, I thought, yeah, that totally makes sense. And then I met this coach. He was an Olympic lifting coach, and he was like one of the best in the world, had coached Olympians, right? And he worked out of a basement in San Francisco, in like the hood. And nobody knew, like he had very few hours, very few clients. When I talked to him about it, he's just like, I'm hoping that, people will find out about us. I've worked with this guy and this guy and this guy.
Marketing kills businesses.
That guy never built a business because he never focused on enrollment. Like you'd call and nobody would pick up, and he never shared what he did.
I tell our clients this all the time. There are literally millions of coaches like that guy. There are millions of coaches that are probably some of the best in the world, and they change 0 lives because they have one leg of the 3-legged stool. They have delivery. They don't have sales and they don't have leads. And because of that, this whole Kevin Costner Field of Dreams, like if you build it, they will come, does not happen. That does not work.
Even worse, what happens if they do figure out some sort of lead source that they're outsourcing, they're not doing it themselves? A lot of times that person collects all the money and then they do all the work. So let's dig into leads, because I think for a lot of coaches, that is the sort of toughest part. Now, when it comes to leads, you break it down into 3 different areas. Can you kind of give me an overview of those?
When it comes to generating leads, there's 3 key components: your offer, building your community and your tribe, and then creating interest or desire to actually work with you. And we find about 95% of coaches get this completely wrong. It's probably the number one obstacle for coaches. They know they need to do it. They don't know how to do it properly. And even if they do know how to do it properly, they still have so many things that get in the way. It prevents them from doing it properly. So the offer is number 1. Number 2 is the community. If you don't have new eyeballs on what you're doing consistently, right? You have to get new people into your world, into your community, and you have to build relationships with them. People buy from people they know, love, and trust. So if you're not consistently and constantly expanding your sphere of people that know, love, and trust you, you're going to run out of people that will potentially work with you, right? If you're trying to always sell your coaching to the same 10 people within your sphere, you might get 1 or 2 of them. Eventually, you're going to run out of people to sell to, right? Yeah. And then interest. I think this is a really interesting one for most coaches. A lot of coaches are really good at building relationships, right? They care about people. They're genuine. What I equate this to is the difference between getting put in the friend zone and getting to actually go on dates. So many coaches get really good at like building relationships with people, but they get put in the friend zone and people always hit them up for free information and like free advice. And they never do a very good job of actually creating interest with people to actually want to hire them and pay them money as a coach. Those are the 3 basic things for leads for you to consistently, especially when you're first starting off, generate consistently 5, 8, 10. If you're generating 5, 8 to 10 leads a week, you're going to be able to build a 20 to 30K per month coaching business. If you're not, it's because you either don't have a good offer, you don't have a growing community, or you're not properly creating interest in your coaching.
When I started going through all of this, I actually had a pretty decent community and I had some interest because I just was really like brute forcing it.
Yeah, probably sheer energy from you.
Yeah, just like I try all these different things and, put out whatever content and do all this other stuff. But my offer sucked. and so when I started, it was really about like, let's get a clear offer. And so to me, when I look at this, the offer, the interest, the community, it's like the offer is the only thing. In fact, like you have the lead sales delivery model. I always look at it as like the offer model.
Well, if you get, you're 100% right. If you get the offer correct, everything else is exponentially easier. Everything. Yeah. The whole lead section is easier. The selling your program is easier if you have the right offer. Your delivery becomes easier when you have a good and clear offer. Like everything gets easier if you get this first step correct. And the vast majority of coaches don't spend any time on this, significant time on making sure this is done properly.
Yeah. My offer was I looked around to see what everyone else is doing. I charged a couple bucks more, and that was my offer, right? And that's what most people do. So I want to dig into this. What makes an offer irresistible, and how can coaches validate their offer? Like what makes a good offer?
That is a very loaded question, Jay.
I'm setting you up here because I can also answer this question, but
so there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that come to me. First, thinking about like what are the big mistakes that we make when it comes to putting together what makes an offer very resistible. I think.
Yeah.
One of the first stories when I was learning how to put together an offer, right? One of my mentors told me, he goes, let's say that you wanted to sell hot dogs, right? It's like, okay, well, if you want to sell hot dogs, you could make the offer 2 for 1 or guaranteed it's the best hot dog you've ever had. He's like, what's the most important thing to make the offer irresistible? And I was like, oh, like you can have a guarantee or you can have very clear whatever. And he goes, the most important thing is to set up shop where there's a lot of hungry buyers. Put yourself outside of a football stadium.
Yeah.
The first lesson in this is the thing that makes an irresistible offer is you have hungry buyers. Most coaches do not approach their offer this way. Most coaches spend so much time clarifying themselves and the problems they want to solve in the world, right? I can't tell you how many coaches I've heard come to me, they say, I want to help people blank. right? I want to help women who have been through narcissistic abuse, or I want to help men who are unfulfilled in this and that, and they're really, they're underconfident in this. I want to help blank. Well, the problem with this is you're approaching your offer from what you want, not what the hungry buyers want to buy. We spend so much time clarifying us and our mission, we forget that a business is not designed around what you want to accomplish. Literally, the definition of a business is solve a problem people want solved and they pay you for it. With a product or a service, there's a problem that people have and you solve it with either a product or a service and they pay you money. It's not, I want to go solve this problem and then people will pay me money just because I want to go solve it. People will only pay you if it's a problem they want solved. And so I think the first thing that makes an irresistible offer is finding hungry buyers, right?
Yes.
So people that actually want to buy something, and this is something that they are buying. And I think this scares a lot of coaches because most coaches, they want to be unique in their offer. I want to be, I don't want to be, I don't want to be just another weight loss coach, or I don't want to be just another career coach or something like that. But it's like, okay, why is why can weight loss coaches be so successful? Well, it's because it's a proven offer and the problem's not getting smaller. North America or the Western culture is not getting less overweight.
It's interesting, if you approached it from the opposite side, let me go find the biggest problems that people have before I think about what I want to do at all, then it's oh, okay, I can go, I'll do a search on Google Trends, or you can use ChatGPT. What are the biggest problems that, moms over 35 have? And it's you list all of them. It's oh, okay, actually.
And not just problems they have, but problems they are spending money to solve. I have a friend of mine, Justin Goff. He's one of the most prolific copywriters in the world. People pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars to write landing pages. He has 5 qualifiers for the types of people he'll work with. The number one qualifier is your offer is something that is already being sold and people are already buying it. Yeah. We have this weird idea that people... we want to create something new. We want a blue ocean, right? And that's going to be how we blow up and change the world. But it's well, if nobody else is selling it, did you ever wonder why not? Yeah. Probably because it's not working. Somebody tried to sell it and they failed. That's the way you want to look at it is what are the problems that these women between 35 and 40 have, or these men between this age have, or these professionals have, or the LGBT community, what is the problem they are spending money to solve right now?
If you can approach it that way, at least to start, then it gives you some ideas of things that the market actually needs. Now, you may find out that, people want their houses cleaned and you're not interested in being a house cleaner, right? But you could find something in your particular space. People want to do their first 5K, right? And it's this is a thing that people are paying money to solve, right? And it's maybe mapped with what you want to be doing. So yeah, I 100%
and I think
agree.
that's a good way to look at it too. It's okay, find these problems that people want solved that they're willing to pay for, and then figure out what it is that you love and are passionate and good at, and find a way, which one fits best, right? Rather than the other way around, find what you love and then try and create an offer around it. It's find the offers that people want to buy and then find which one fits best or closest to you. Yeah. I guarantee even if that offer is not 100% aligned with your perfect, alignment of your spiritual identity or whatever it is, it's probably better than the 9-to-5 you're in right now, right? That's what it was for me. When I quit my 9-to-5, I wanted to put together an offer that was perfectly aligned with who I was and my identity as a person. And it failed miserably for months. My first offer that failed miserably was I help people find their truest vision of their purpose in life or something it was
that was your offer?
It was the most fluffy life coaching offer of all time. And it tanked. Nobody wanted to buy it, right? Because it was
so surprised.
It was what I wanted to do. I to this day, I still believe my purpose in life is to help other people live their purpose in life. That is my purpose. That is why I'm here on earth. That is my purpose, my mission. That is not a coaching offer, right? And it tanked. I made $0 with it, right? Because nobody wanted to buy the life purpose coach, right? Unless
I bet you felt really self-righteous about it though.
I felt so self-righteous. This is the thing, right? It was I was so excited. And then when I realized nobody was buying it, I was okay, maybe I need to take a look at it from the other side. Maybe I need to create an offer people want to buy, which is where my first offer that actually made me money was helping corporate professionals find careers they love, right? And when you think about it, that was actually pretty aligned with what I wanted to do, right? I was helping these corporate professionals who were lost and didn't know where they wanted to go and what they were doing. And I was helping them find that new trajectory, that new path in life, which is very much aligned. At least, when I was working at Cisco as an engineer, I was probably like 10% aligned with what I really wanted to do in life. And this offer was more like 70 or 80% aligned with what I really wanted to do in life. So it's like, that's a big jump. You don't have to go from 10% to 100% right away. Go from 10% to 50% or 70%.
Yeah.
But get out of a 9 to 5 and make money and learn the skills while you're doing it. And eventually you can be the next Brene Brown.
That's a really good way to look at it, actually. Maybe it's not 100% of what you're going to do all the time, but it does get you, some income, some freedom.
And it gets you started, and you're learning the important skills of entrepreneurship. Like you're not going to become Tony Robbins or Jay Shetty or Lewis Howes or anybody overnight. Like it takes time to learn the skills, the marketing skills, the sales skills to get there. So like get something that's pretty close and get moving.
So my first offer was, I spent a ton of time on this. I worked in a corporate environment. We did lots of mission statement stuff. And so I had this mission statement. It says, when you feel strong, capable, and confident, you live a better life. That was my
That's adorable.
offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great. It wasn't what we were actually selling. we were selling like, basically like strength classes, and every so often we'd have like some nutrition classes or whatever. So we managed to like limp along and keep the business going with this offer, right? But it was like, I would get on calls and I would tell people like, hey, when you feel strong, capable, and confident, you live a better life. And they're like,
yeah, cool, Jay. Can you help me lose 20 pounds?
Exactly. Yeah. I just want to look better on the beach.
I want to be able to see my abs, or I want to be able to it's so funny.
And look, I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm pushing it. It's like, no, what you want is to be capable and confident. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, that's great. Like, that's cool. But like, I want to, I want to look better or whatever. That's where a lot of coaches go. And I think there's the sunk cost fallacy of you put all this time and effort to like put your vision down on paper. And it's like, you're going to make this thing happen in the world. Right. And I finally let it go when I realized like I was in business for 10 years. So this is one of the reasons I do this. 10 years of doing business. We weren't doing terrible. But when the government came and shut us down during COVID, it was like, oh, turns out people don't care about being strong, capable, and confident. They were showing up to do my classes. And now I don't have classes. What the hell am I going to do?
What am I going to do? Yeah.
So that we can save people 10 years in my case. And, you're much smarter than me. It didn't take you 10 years. What are the key components of a compelling offer?
The first thing that I'd say is, number one, like keep it short and clear and concise. It should be less than 10 words. And you also use dumb language. If you were to ask me what our offer is at High Impact Coaching, it's I help coaches build profitable businesses, or I help coaches make money. It's very simple. It's very dumb. It's also cliche. Our offer is not the thing that makes us unique. Our results are what make us unique, right? The results that we get and the transformation that we get is what makes us unique. The offer is not unique, right? And so, it's simple, it's clear, and it's really focused on a very concrete and specific who and a specific and concrete what, not a how, right? Most coaches talk about the how, but it's a who and a what. Coaches, profitable business, or coaches, more money, right? So that's clear, a who and a what. I help women lose weight permanently, right?
Yeah.
Who, women, what, lose weight permanently, right? The how is not part of your offer. The how can be, part of when you're actually selling your positioning of your program. It can be in your marketing and your copy, but the offer itself is all about a who and a what. It's your avatar, and then either desired outcome they want to get to, or a problem they want solved. We actually have like a master doc with I think 198 different offers that we have approved, that we know these offers can build multiple six-figure businesses, but they're all really simple things like I help women lose weight permanently. I help coaches build profitable businesses. I help real estate agents build six-figure pipelines in 6 months. If you can't explain your offer to your mechanic and they understand what you're saying, you're probably overcomplicating it, which is, I mean, every coach loves to overcomplicate it.
What's interesting kind of hearing that you say, I help coaches build profitable businesses, but then there's like products that promise a specific result as well, right? So like for me, I actually went straight to the product, but our offer statement was, we help you get strong and lose weight. And it was just like really simple. And, if I wanted to be a little more dialed in, it's like we help people in this particular area get strong and lose weight. Then we had an 8-week offer at the beginning that focused on a specific outcome.
Lose 20 pounds in the next 8 weeks.
Lose 15 pounds in 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
same thing for us, right? Like for our coaches, right? It's, when coaches work with us, like we can actually guarantee that they're going to start enrolling high ticket clients within 8 weeks, right? And we can guarantee that within the first year, they're going to be earning a 6-figure income, right? So it's like, but that's for specific levels of coaches.
For you, that first offer that hit was, you said it was like, I help corporate professionals get promoted or something.
I help professionals transition to jobs they love. In the career coaching space, you're either helping people progress their careers or transition to something new. Like they either want to go up or they want to go out. And I was helping helping professionals get out, do something different.
That's not your offer now. So are you saying that it's okay to change your offer?
Yes, Jay, it's okay to change your offer. That's a great question, though. I think what a lot of coaches, a lot of times they kind of get stuck in this like, oh, if I'm creating this offer, I'm married to it forever. Right. And that's not true. Right. So it was like, that when I first started, that first offer was kind of the best that I could come up with. Right? And it worked. I was able to build a 40 to 50K per month coaching business in about 6 months. But as I did that, I had a lot of other coaches who were reaching out to me and they were like, Xander, I've been trying to build this business for 6 years and you just did it in 6 months. What the hell are you doing? Right. And I basically realized I was like, it would be more aligned for me if I were to be able to help other coaches do it. So let's go play around with this and see if I can help some coaches build their business. And so I tested it out with a handful of coaches and it worked. Right. So that was 7 years ago when we launched High Impact Coaching. I kind of took my engineering brain and took what was working for me and created a system around it and said, all right, guys, let's give it a try. Let's see if this works. And it worked. We were able to help starting coaches get their businesses up and running. It was that evolution of like we talked about. When I was working at Cisco, I was probably like 10-15% aligned with like who the truest version of Xander really was. When I transitioned into coaching and I started the career coaching side of things, it was maybe more like 60 to 70% aligned. And then when I got to start working with coaches, it got more like 90% aligned. I still think there's another iteration of this, maybe like 10 years down the line, which is like the truest version of me. But it's like, again, I had to learn some skills. I had to, develop myself over the last 7 years. And again, over the next 5 to 10 years, there's more development of me that is necessary to get to that, truest aligned version of me where I'm at, 95, 100% of living what I'm really supposed to live.
That's funny because I'm laughing. You're talking about your truest version. And the only thing that I'm hearing is like, wait, you help people level up their careers. That's something you did. And you just taught people how to do it. Right. Yeah. And then you help people, you started your own coaching business and that's something you did and you taught people how to do it. It's like, you're basically teaching people the things that you know.
I had a buddy of mine, Sean Kemp, once say, he goes, Xander, you're running like the best pyramid scheme of all time. And I was like, yeah, it's great. He's like, yeah, you're literally just creating like money and joy and abundance and love with you're helping, you do it yourself and then you share it with other people. He's like, that's the best pyramid scheme ever.
That's basically all businesses, to be honest. The reason I kind of highlight that is because you're doing what you're doing for kind of this higher purpose, but ultimately what you're really doing is teaching people stuff that you've learned. When I talk to coaches, I say the same thing. It's just like, if I'm going to try to teach you how to play the trumpet and I've never touched the trumpet, it's like,
it's a little out of integrity.
I could do all the research and do all of this stuff, but if I haven't actually learned it myself, then I'm not going to be able to speak with the same level of authority. Now, potentially you've helped other people through it. This is something that like therapists will do, and they'll help people through like trauma or whatever.
Or like a nutritionist that has helped someone who's gone through Hashimoto's, but they themselves have not gone through Hashimoto's, right? So you can coach from either experience or expertise. Those are the two things.
I would say if you're getting started, you should definitely do it based on experience. It just makes it a lot easier. I've, hired lots of coaches in my life, and our offer was we help you lose 15 pounds in 8 weeks. I've done that but the coaches that did best with that offer have done it before.
Yeah, for sure.
The coaches that didn't, they really struggled, right? Did you ever make an offer that totally bombed?
Yeah, the first offer I ever made. It was all around helping people live their life's purpose.
Okay, so that was the first one bombed, but every other one has been a home run.
Well, I think after that I learned my lesson, right? Like I learned to detach my ego from my offer. This is very hard for coaches to do because we identify with our offer as coaches. Like it is my identity, right? Now, I'm an incredibly woo-woo person, right? Like I'm sitting here, I've got like crystals behind me, I've got Palo Santo burning in the corner, right? And I am now the guy, the help you make money guy. If that doesn't scream disconnect, right? But you have to disconnect your ego and who you are from your offer. You have, and that was the big lesson for me. It's like, if I identified with my offer, it was always going to be my mission. Because I'd be like, no, but this is what I really want to do. I really want to help people live their life's purpose. And I would have been broke for the rest of my life. So I realized, okay, I just need to disconnect my ego and what my identity is from my offer. And I'm not going to like my offer, because if I like my offer, well, then it's probably not going to work because I'm not my ideal audience. And frankly, if you don't like your offer, right? Like if you don't like being the weight loss person or the career coach or the whatever, it's like, that might be a good sign that that's probably a good offer for you, because you're not your ideal. You're more conscious than your ideal audience. So you shouldn't identify with it. It shouldn't connect with you, right? I think that was really tough for me. But once I got that, I just kind of got over it. I'm like, okay, I'm creating an offer that connects with them. And if I ever identify with it, it's going to ruin the entire business. So just stop. And I just stopped.
I think if I identify too much with the offer, then I get invested in a way that pushes people in the wrong direction. I can't think of any ones that I've done that have completely bombed, like no one, signed up for it.
Well, yeah, that's because you were never in the life coaching space like I was. That's the area where everybody bombs. It's I help men and women live their dream life. Life coaches, we suck at this, so just let it go.
I came from a financial services company, so I was always focused on the money. All right, so let's move on to community. So, we've talked a little bit about offer. The second section is community. So why is building a community more powerful than just building a following?
Oh, that's a really good question. When I think of community, I think of two things that are really important, right? So the first one, like we kind of talked about, is new eyeballs, right? So you have to get new blood, new eyeballs on your stuff consistently, right? And whether you have a community or whether you have a following, as long as it's growing, that's new eyeballs, right? And that's really helpful. But to your point, what makes a community better than a following is relationships. We live in the most connected time in history, yet we as humans feel more disconnected than ever. That's really the key component to this, is people buy from people that they know, love, and trust, right? Like I always use the example of, the influencer versus the small mom and pop that right? So example, if Jay, if your kitchen plumbing popped a leak, right? You sprung a leak, like, holy shit, I got to go get a plumber. And you're driving to the coffee shop and you see a big sign that says, Plumber John, like America's plumber, like the best in America. You're like, okay, you write down the number. This person has a following. He has people watching him, right? He's got the big banner on the freeway or whatever. But then you get to the coffee shop, and in line, the person behind you is like, hey, how's your day going? You're like, oh man, it's really rough. Pipe burst in my kitchen. I'm trying to figure this out and get this sorted. So I'm thinking of calling, Plumber John, America's plumber. And he goes, no. Like, you got to call Plumber Jane. Like Plumber Jane helped me with our renovation. She did this, she did that. Like, she is phenomenal. And you start to develop a relationship with Plumber Jane just through this conversation with this other person, right?
Yep.
Well, who are you going to call? You're going to call Plumber John, or you're going to call Plumber Jane? You're going to call Plumber Jane, because it was a more intimate relationship. It was real connection. It was real community. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a community that is not only growing and expanding, but it creates connection and intimacy and genuine relationships. And thanks to things like social media, like, you can do this now better than you ever could have in the history of entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
You can create very tight-knit communities where people are really connected, and there's a lot of know, love, and trust with people anywhere in the world.
So what it looks like online is like maybe you are on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever, and you're posting something and people are engaging with it.
For starting coaches, we always suggest platforms that you can actually have two-way conversations, right? YouTube is great for longer term when you've got a brand or when you really know what content you're putting out there. Same thing with podcasts, right? Like phenomenal, but they're asynchronous. They're one directional. You can create much quicker relationships on platforms where you can communicate two-way. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of those platforms where you can actually, you can post content and you can kind of be that banner, but you can also communicate with people. You can say like, hey John, like, saw you liked this post. What else are you interested in? Oh, I'm interested in, like how to put together my own community. Yeah, here's a post that I did on that. Check it out. And you're actually communicating and helping people solve problems, two-way, right? And so you can have a much smaller community on, say, Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that, and really build really tight community there of people who actually end up wanting to buy from you. Even if you only, like the first month that I made money as a coach, I made 13 grand, a little over 13 grand. And I made it with a Facebook group of 47 people. This was not a following of thousands. This was a Facebook community of 47 because I really focused on genuine relationships, connection, intimacy, not just trying to be Plumber John on the billboard.
Sam Ovens in a talk once say the best marketing is talking to your customers. He would publish videos and whatever, people would comment and he would send them, or they'd be on his email list or whatever, and he'd just send them a note saying, hey, Zoom, and then he'd hop on and talk to them.
Yeah, amazing.
Not surprising, he's built a community platform. That's part of what I see a lot of coaches miss is they want to jump straight to the billboard.
Everybody wants to be the influencer. The influencer job is easy. You post a piece of content every day and you get people flocking towards you, right?
I don't think it's easy.
Yeah, well, we know what it actually takes. Most people don't see that, right? Like most people don't realize, well, let's put it this way. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it could have been easy because you would have been one of 8, maybe 9 coaches online posting about your coaching business. Like every single one of you guys could have become an influencer 10, 15 years ago. The problem is today there's over 2 billion content creators. If you want your content to stand out, you actually have to be masterful with your content, which means you have to practice, right? Like Michael Phelps doesn't swim just at the Olympics. He would swim like 7 hours a day just so that when he went to the competition, it showed up and it showed everybody else up. It's the same thing with content, right? It's like if you're not working the skills on copywriting and delivery and storytelling and quality and all these things and figuring out what really works, the one piece of content that you do that day is going to be crap and nobody's going to follow it, right? Like it needs to be masterful for it to. So it takes a lot of time and energy and effort to make it work.
It reminds me, have you ever seen, you know who Martha Stewart is, right?
Yeah, of course.
You've got to watch the Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
She was basically like the original influencer. I mean, she built $1 billion company just with her name on it. It was really interesting, but when you talk about the amount of work, like she put so much work into all of the stuff that she did. It was just like a maniacal amount of effort. And then, sharing it with other people. And it was really connecting with her sort of ideal audience. The funny thing is, like at the beginning, she did, like the community was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Right. Is like she connected with people.
That's how she
and she
learned.
hosted dinner parties and
that's how she learned what they wanted to eat and talk about and what their beliefs and feelings were, was the connection in the conversations probably for years. The only reason that we know what to talk about on these, podcasts and shows and in our content today is because you and I have been having conversation with coaches for almost a decade. You for longer than a decade. For me, almost a decade.
And in fact, when I run out of ideas, I just go host a Q&A.
and just see what everybody's saying.
And this is something you knew like right from the beginning? Like this is maybe something you picked up from your corporate job or?
I absolutely did not. I learned it very quickly though. We'll use the Facebook community, for example, right? So I seeded this Facebook community and I got a bunch of people into it and we got it to like 47 people, right? And I got like a handful of clients. I had my first like 13K month and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then I was like, shit, what am I going to do next month? I can't just go back to the same 47 people and see if anybody wants to work with me. Like I need new people to talk. So it became very clear to me very, very quickly that like I needed to get new people into this community so that I could continue to have the conversations. There's There was a study that was done. It was something like, they tested like 40,000 people that were buying in every different product and service and space. And what they ended up finding is like over the course of 18 months, about 50% of the people would end up buying, right? 50% of the people over the course of 18 months would buy. Only about 15% of those people would buy within, 30 to 60 days. We call those the now buyers, right? So yeah, if I had this Facebook community of 47 people, maybe at some point over the next 18 months, 20 to 25 of them would buy, right? But it's like, if I need now buyers this month, well, I need more people in the community so I can find the now buyers now, and the future buyers will kind of hang around and buy eventually in the future.
I'm trying to figure out how I figured this out. Maybe I'm just so old that we didn't have all these different options for posting and that kind of thing.
How did you first get leads? What was the way that you first got leads?
Back when we started, you could put a website up and people could find it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because again, like you weren't now it's like there's like 60,000 new websites go up every month or something.
Yeah, but that was, even then it wasn't enough. I mean, you get like 1 or 2 clients, right? Just with like SEO and that kind of thing. And so what we did was I just did free workouts in the park. And I went to meetup.com, which is, I think it still exists, but I would go there and I would say, hey, we're doing a free workout at Hyde Park. This was in London at the time. And free workout in Hyde Park, 8 a.m. on Sunday or whatever. And the first time we did it, 1 or 2 people showed up. And then like by the end of the summer, we'd have like 25, 30 people.
You created a community.
Those were free.
Yeah.
And, I would say maybe 1 out of 5 people or so would come and check out the gym and join. We created sort of goodwill around what we were doing. And then when the sun went down and didn't shine anymore for several months, that's why I don't live there anymore, then it would be like, okay, let's go to the gym and check it out. And then we had our little community of clients that we started to kind of grow from there. Yeah.
But what ended up happening is the people that bought from you were the people that built know, love, and trust with you. They enjoyed an experience with you, and they wanted to buy from you, right? Yeah. They were going to join somewhere, but they wanted to buy from you.
A couple of things that I find work really well for building the community is, number one, it starts with one person. That's you.
Yeah.
And you have to show up in a place with a promise consistently, right? It's just like, if I showed up every Sunday to do that workout and you're going to walk away getting a good workout, then you're more likely to show up. And number two, you welcome all the new people in the community, right? It's like you make it a community by kind of connecting them and that kind of thing. And then, at the end, we'll talk about interest next, but it's like you make an offer, of something that they can do next. If
you have to make the ask.
Let's kind of shift to that because, it's great to have a community. And there's, a church on every corner where I live,
right?
But that isn't necessarily a business. It's a nonprofit, but it's not necessarily.
I don't know.
A business.
Churches can make a lot of money, man.
Maybe we should make ourselves a church. Can we do that?
I'm sure we can look it up.
So tell me, explain the interest part, because I sometimes there's some confusion around that. What does that mean?
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point, right? There's a couple of things behind it, but. First and foremost is like you have to make an offer for people to buy. You have to have something for people to buy, and you have to put it in front of people. We'll stick with the fitness space as an example. We'll have a fitness coach come to us every so often where they're online, they're posting consistently, they've got a decent following, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, and they're just not making any money, and they don't know why.
Selfies and stuff.
Yeah. I go check out their Instagram, and there's all these videos of them doing squats and hip thrusts and deadlifts and whatever. And there is never a single offer. They never say like, hey, anybody want to hire me? This is very scary for people to put yourself out there and say like, hey, dude, I'm we call it the blunt post. I'm looking for, 5 women who want to lose weight over the next 60 days. Anybody want to go through our program? Now that post, what happens is on social media, we get very addicted to the vanity metrics, the likes, the views, the whatever it might be. And that post might get very, very, very low views and very, very, very low, likes or whatever it is. But the 3 people that like it reach out to you and end up hiring you. You have to deal with the vanity rejection of like not getting as many likes and be willing to put yourself out there every now and then. We had a client of ours, who, we helped her on Instagram get to the point of doing about 10K per month. She was doing these offers like within her stories and things like that. And I was like, Yuri, what if you just did like a blunt post once a month, just like on your actual feed? She's like, oh, I've never done that before. She did that and her business literally went from 10K to 30K and it stayed there, right? Just because she was willing to put a billboard up once a month to remind people that they could hire her. We don't do this. Humans don't do this because we're afraid of rejection. So we don't want to put ourselves out there. And I always have to remind our coaches, like, you ever seen like a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi billboard that you drive by on the freeway? Jay, how many times have you driven by a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi billboard and not bought a Coke?
100% of the time.
All of them, yeah, because you don't drink Coke. My point here, right, is like that Coca-Cola billboard, there might be 9,999 people that drive by that Coca-Cola billboard and not pull over to buy a Coke. Does the Coca-Cola billboard go, oh my God, I'm so worthless, everybody hates me, oh my God, I should quit? No, it just sits there and does its job. And the 1,000 or 1,001th person or 10,000 or 10,001th person sees it and goes, I should go buy a Coke. And they pull over and go buy a Coke. The Coca-Cola billboard is not there for the 9,999 people. It's there for the one. And so the first thing that I would tell all coaches is like, you have to put once you've got a good offer, you have to put it in front of people. Also, if people are not buying it and not reaching out to you to work with you because of it, it's probably not a good offer. That's your first test. Put it in front of people and see if people go, oh, that's super interesting. Yes, I want some. Or if you just get crickets. That's a very good test for your offer. The second thing is we as coaches get really good at educational content, right? That's what we're coaches. We love to teach. And the problem is what we do is we as coaches have this belief. If I put my absolute best educational content out there for free, eventually people will see my value and they'll want to work with me.
Where does that come from? Because I hear that all the time.
I think, honestly, I remember being told this like when I first started in the coaching space. I think this was actually one of the like best marketing lies that was put out there by like the original like online marketing pros, because it was what people wanted to hear. What people wanted to hear back then was like, if you just put out your best content for free, everybody will love you and they will want to work with you, which doesn't actually happen. Jay, do you know why people are actually on social media? Why would you say they're actually on social media?
I would say because they want to feel something.
That's a good answer. They're bored. They want to be entertained. They want to be inspired. They want to connect, right? Is the answer that these are the answers that I hear the most. Notice how education and learning was not one of those answers. People are not actually on social media to be educated for the most part. They're on social media to be entertained or connect or laugh or be inspired or something like that, right? And so we put all this educational content out, and first of all, the algorithm hates us. So there is nobody driving by your billboard because all you're doing is educational content, which the algorithm hates. That's the first problem. The second problem is the people who do watch, you're giving these like Band-Aid solutions to the big problem. Let's say somebody is 50 pounds overweight, and you're like, okay, I'm going to give them this recipe for low-fat buffalo chicken or something like that. Two things end up happening. They see this and they think, okay, that's all I need to do is I just need to eat this low-fat buffalo chicken. So if they do decide, well, let's go backwards one. First, a lot of people just see it, and because they haven't paid you as a coach, they actually won't commit to actually doing anything with the recipe. They might save the recipe and they don't do anything because they're lazy. 99% of people that see your educational content do absolutely nothing with it. This is why a lot of your free content that goes out there, you think you're changing lives, but number one, nobody's watching it. Number two, the people who are watching it are not actually acting on it. But let's say that 1 or 2 or 3% that actually use it, they're gonna take it away and they're gonna go, man, I have the fix. I'm finally gonna lose 50 pounds with this low-fat buffalo chicken. And you and I both know that Band-Aid for this gunshot wound is not gonna fix it. Yes, you need to be educating in your content, but more importantly, what you need to be educating on is you need to be educating on what it really takes to get there. And you need to be inspiring people into action and connecting with them through polls and conversations and all of these other things. I had a mentor once tell me, he goes, Xander, your educational content is like the most antioxidant rich spinach ever. It's so good for you. The problem is nobody likes spinach. They all want more chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you got to do more chocolate and less spinach. When people realize that they love you and they like you and they're connecting with you and they realize that you're great at what you do, you have to make an offer to them to actually work with you, because they're probably not going to change their life just by watching your social media.
What I find is that people, if I'm putting together a script for like a YouTube video, it's like you want to give people information, but really you want them to feel like it's possible.
That's
But
the
you're right.
inspiration.
Like,
that's the
give you-
inspiration side of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I give you everything to build a six-figure business, it's just like a checklist. It's not going to resonate, and you're not going to do it.
Well, here's the way that I explain it. Like, we can actually guarantee that coaches build successful money-making coaching businesses with us. If I were to take our entire program and I were to put it all online for free, I guarantee nobody would get results, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, it's all there. The information is there. Like, for anybody listening, all the information you ever need to build a successful 6 and 7 figure coaching business is online. So why have you not built it yet? It's not the information, it's the execution.
When you're generating interest, you want something that is going to motivate people, going to inspire them, but also going to get them to take action.
Take
which
action
is-
and do something different.
The Blunt Post is a great example, like reaching out to you if they
Yeah.
need that help. In terms of generating interest, like we talked a little bit about the Blunt Post. Are there any other posts that you have found, or any other types of kind of interest generation that you find works really well with new coaches?
One of my favorite ones, it comes from, I think it was Dan Kennedy that once said, when you can describe someone's problem better than they automatically assume that you can help them solve it. Literally just being able to understand someone's problem and describe it in a way that they have never been able to describe it. They go, holy shit, this person knows a lot about this problem. They must, in their, like, psychologically, they must know how to get there. Let's say you had like a shoulder pain, a really sharp shoulder pain, and you're telling your doctor friend, Dr. Jane, that like you've got this sharp shoulder pain because you trust Dr. Jane. It's a doctor. And so you're like, yeah, I've got this sharp shoulder pain. They're like, oh, that's weird. Like, set up an appointment with me for Monday and we'll figure out what's going on. Well, they're a doctor. They have authority. So you're going to book that appointment with them, right? Now, while you're walking, explaining this to Dr. Jane, you walk by a homeless person. And this homeless person stands up and goes, you've got Johnson's syndrome. And you're like, what? Yeah, it's a sharp pain, right shoulder, not left shoulder. It's like a pin, like straight in the middle there, about an inch down from where your collarbone meets your shoulder blade. And then it'll stay there for like 5 seconds, and then it'll drip down towards your elbow. It'll come down to your hand and really kind of tingle your little finger and your ring finger, and then it comes back up to your elbow, back up to your shoulder, right? But right shoulder, never your left shoulder, right? You're like, yeah, how did you know that? Yeah, it's Johnson syndrome. You go, oh my God. They're like, well, here, let me go like talk to you about it over here. You're like, okay. You go talk to this homeless person for the next 30 minutes about Johnson syndrome because they described your problem better than you ever could. And they helped you identify what was really going wrong. And so when you really understand your audience's problem better than they can, and you can help them describe it better than they can, you will get people reaching out to you even without putting up your offer, right?
Yeah.
And then when you put up the offer, it's like, oh my God, yes, please.
By the way, I thought about this the other day. If you're a weight loss coach and you focus on helping people lose 30 plus pounds, I only work with people who want to lose more than 30 pounds. What I would do is I would describe what it feels like to go into an airplane and you're 100 pounds overweight, you're not fitting in the aisles, right? Your back hurts because you're not strong and lifting up all the suitcases with all the extra heavy clothes, and then you're worried, will the seatbelt fit around me, right? And like, I'm not going to fit in the seat, I'm going to be in someone else's space, and the seatbelt's not going to fit, I'm going to have to get that extender. It's like, these are problems that a regular person that's never had to lose 100 pounds would never.
And you're describing their problem in a way that is so deep and so visceral and true, because they're like, oh my God, it comes back to that connection. This person gets me. They must be able to fully understand how to help me solve this problem.
We just talked for an hour on only leads, right? So we went through the offer, went through the community, how to generate interest. We're going to come back for episode 2 and 3, where we talk about sales and delivery, because once you have those leads, you need to be able to enroll them, and then you need to be able to deliver. If you want help building your coaching business, I'm going to encourage you to click the link below, fill out an application, see if it's a good fit.
See what he did there, guys? That's our Coca-Cola banner.
You'll have to listen to this 10,000 times. All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Xander.
Thanks, man.